Well, welcome to the Origins of Civilization. I'm Professor Schwartz. In this video, I just wanted to go over the syllabus really quickly and give you an idea of what to expect in the class. And in the next video, I'll introduce sort of myself and my background and talk about some of the main themes that we're going to be looking at in the class. So here's basic information. I'm available, very readily. But I won't have set office hours just because it makes more sense from what I've seen to schedule as on an as need basis. Many times if I schedule office hours, students can't make those office hours anyway, and we end up having to schedule something. So feel free to ask me any questions at all times. If you're confused, if you have a question about an assignment or the content of the course, please email me, and I'd be happy also to talk to you via Zoom or Blackboard Collaborate. The class is asynchronous, so we're not going to have any scheduled sessions altogether, but you will be meeting in groups to work on a group project, and I'll be talking about that as well. I find that for the spring semester, especially because it's only 6 weeks or 7 weeks, asynchronous actually works well because, in fact, it works even better than when we had it in person because in person it was 3 hours on Monday, 3 hours on Wednesday, and 3 hours is a long time. So here you could actually spread things out a little bit, do a half hour one day, 45 minutes the next day, and so on. So it actually works out really well. Okay, in the beginning of the syllabus, I have table of contents so you can go through some of this information on your own. I'll talk a little bit about the gen ed skills, etc., etc. And you also have a course schedule here that you click on, little hyperlinks within the syllabus itself. Okay, so as you guys probably are aware, this fulfills two gen ed requirements: global perspectives and historical perspectives. And you can see some of the knowledge goals and then the student skills that gen ed hopes you will gain after this, such as critical thinking, which the paper and the presentation will be kind of honing those skills, and then also collaboration, working on a team. That's where the group project comes in with historical perspectives. Again, critical thinking, also problem solving, which I think that the paper will, and also some of the other things we'll do in class, we'll kind of hone those skills. Okay, so there's no textbook for the class. I haven't found a textbook that really fills all my needs, so instead what I do is I post PDFs of articles and other things, good readings each week. Usually every week there's a background reading, and that kind of helps emphasize all the things we learned that week, and also is good if you have questions about some of the things we did that week. And then there will also be an additional reading, which I will have a assignment on Blackboard related to that reading. So it's sort of a background reading and then a more focused reading on a particular topic. Okay, the main things we're going to be looking at in the class, as I've said, the origins of civilization. We'll be talking about what do we mean by civilization. But we're going to be looking at some of the big changes in human history. And one of the first and most important changes is the change from mobile hunting and gathering groups, of small groups, to settled down agricultural communities that eventually became cities and large states. And we're going to be looking at that change. First, the shift to agriculture, and then the development of large societies. And one of the things you'll be looking at in your paper and your group presentation is why do societies collapse? And you'll be looking at ancient societies and potentially the reasons why they collapse. And you'll be thinking about it in terms of contemporary society today, in terms of the problems that we face. What are some of the problems that could potentially cause a collapse today? The objectives you can see here, right? By the end of the class, I think you'll see that ancient cultures throughout the world did some amazing things. That there was a variety of uh, cultures, a variety of developments, and that we can't just focus on Western culture when we're looking at human achievement. That amazing things were done by all peoples throughout the world. And so hopefully you'll have an appreciation of that. You'll also understand a little bit about how historical developments take place, how culture works, how cultural change takes place. You'll be able to examine your own culture through this lens as well, I believe. Also, you'll get better, I hope, at writing papers and giving oral presentations. Okay, the class is, I should write 7 weeks here because it's technically 7 weeks. But, so it's very condensed. We cover a lot of material in a short amount of time. It means you have to stay on top of everything. You can't put off a week. It's hard to make up. You have to keep up with everything and the due dates, and not get behind because it's again, it's very hard to sort of get caught up. Harder to get caught up in a short semester than it is during a regular semester. So I really urge you to stay on top of things, but I'm here to help you with that. So the way I've had the course organized is each week we'll have a quiz. Next week will be our first quiz on what we do this week. It breaks up the course better, I think, than rather one midterm, one final. Too much emphasis placed on only 2 exams. This way you'll have a lot of different exams. They're all open note, which means the better your notes are, the more easy time you'll have with the quizzes. So each week I will have an outline for you to take notes on for the videos I post. And I urge you to take good notes. The outlines have questions that kind of will clue you in on what's coming up next and what you should be writing down. And again, because it's open note, the more time you spend taking notes, the less time you'll have to spend searching for things and spending time on the quiz. So there'll be 6 quizzes. There'll be an individually written research paper, which I will assign to you on the collapse of a civilization, and a group presentation, which will be on the exact same topic. The presentation you'll work on as a group, and some of the initial research you'll work on as a group. But the writing of the paper you will do individually. Right? And there will also be reading assignments. Not every single week, but many weeks. The weeks that you're working on your group project, there won't be reading assignments. But we will have a couple of reading assignments this week. So the quizzes, there'll be 6 of them, about 10.5% each. The writing assignments, 20%. The presentation and the assessment of each other, the anonymous assessment of each other that you do at the end of that, will be a total of 10%, and then the reading assignments, 8%. I have some information here that comes from the student handbook. If you need any accommodations in terms of the class, talk to the Office of Academic Support and talk to me as well, and we will arrange something. I'm also going to have resources for your paper and your presentation via the library, and I'll talk more about that as well. So again, each week, and I will show you what the Blackboard website looks like. Each week you will have things posted for that week, such as the videos, the outline, the readings, things like that. Everything will be on Blackboard. So this week we'll be doing kind of a methods introduction to archaeology, how archaeology works. We're going to have some readings posted on that, and then we're going to get right into the origins of agriculture. And we're going to start with the Middle East, also called the Near East. Then next week we'll be talking about the origins of agriculture in Europe and then other places in the world, such as Mesoamerica or Central America, South America, China, Africa. And then we'll start getting into what a complex society, what a civilization actually is, and also talk about ancient writing. And you'll get to learn a little bit about ancient writing. Then week 3, we'll have our second quiz, and then we'll start looking at some of the earliest civilizations in the world, Mesopotamia and Egypt. During that week, you'll meet for your group project. I'll talk more about the group project at that time. You'll get some of the preliminary research done for your group project. Next week, we'll be talking about the civilizations of India, Harappan civilization, and then also Central America, Olmec, Teotihuacan, the Maya, and the Aztec. Week 5, we will get into South America and ancient China. Week 6, we'll talk about secondary states, and we'll talk about what those are. But the ancient Minoans, the Mycenaeans, secondary states in Africa. During that week, your papers will be due. Once your papers are due, it will be easier to then work on the presentation together as a group to finalize it. You'll do that, and then on the Monday of week 7, I'll post all of the presentations, which will be YouTube videos that you will create, and everyone in the class will watch them and take some notes, and some of that material will be on the last quiz, or quiz 6. Quiz 6, which is technically the final exam, is not cumulative. It's only based on that week, the previous week plus collapse of civilizations. Right, so there's the syllabus. Now I just wanted to show you the Blackboard website. Okay, I like to use Blackboard, and I'll put all the materials for the class on Blackboard. And you'll be able to navigate through the website using many of the tabs here on the left. Today and this beginning of this week, you'll be clicking on the Begin Here tab. Well, in order to access this video, you've already had to click on this tab. The syllabus will be linked here as well. Each week, in the weekly content section, I'll have a folder of all the material needed for that week. I'm going to have information about the final project over here, and you'll also be able to send email, and there'll be more tabs added as I add you to different groups for your group project.